Hello Internet, CJ here with you again with another Talking Hands video. We're doing lockpicking stuff again today. For those who haven't seen my previous couple of videos, I'm well into this physical security stuff at the moment, having watched a couple of videos from DEF CON and a few other conferences. For Australian viewers, that's DEF CON with a C. It's a long running security conference series in the United States. It's not DEF CON with a Q as per the hardcore EDM music festival that popped up in the news this year because a couple of people took some bad drugs and experienced the tragic consequences that often occur when that happens. Yeah, no relation. It's a security conference thing. So I've been watching a bunch of these videos and I've gotten all into this lockpicking and physical security stuff. So I went to Banggood, our friends, our purveyors, favourite purveyors of cheaply manufactured Chinese goods, and bought myself some tools. As you see here, there's a first impressions video on the channel, previous video. I'll post a link to that below. Easy to find. There's obviously lots of these sorts of videos on YouTube already by people who are much more competent and probably much more professional YouTube presenters than I am. But so I appreciate your patience. I'm coming to you live from this Core 2 Duo Dell laptop today because the desktop rig, she's not happy. She's not happy at all. I need to do some work on that, work out what's going on. But anyway, moving on. So I bought this 24-piece Danyu lockpick kit, which came in this sort of pleather case with a couple of tension tools and this acrylic practice lock, which lets you see how it all works inside. That came with the two keys. I also bought a 14-piece tension tool set. This is going to be a sort of a basic tutorial as well as a sort of review for those that are interested. Obviously there's dozens of these sorts of things online, but you know, practicing my YouTube skills, so we'll see how we go. So yeah, we've got the 14-piece tension tool set as well, and I dug up a couple of crusty old padlocks out of my boxes of junk. Cineco there and a Lockwood. Both managed to get the keys for those are long since lost to the mists of time, but I managed to get both of them open fairly easily with the tools once I'd had a bit of a practice with this one. We've also got a Master branded TSA travel lock there. Travel lock. They're a terrible idea. Don't use them for a number of reasons. I'll post a link in the description below as to why. But anyway, let's move on. So let's start with the lockpick kit. Talking Hands video, so you're going to have to deal with looking at my crusty old claws. So sorry about that. But okay, so here's the toolkit in its cheap case. There was a bit of a loose thread at the top here which caught on the zip when I took it out of the box originally, and it's, you know, I had to snip that off and stuff about, but it's okay, it's sturdy enough, it's fine. This cost $18.75, 18 Australian Copex, so you know, and free shipping, so you get what you pay for. So we've got, let's see, we've got some long hooks here, like some shallow hooks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. We've got two different deep hooks here. We've got this sort of little double rounded, I think that's called a feeler. You just sort of pop that in to kind of feel where the pins are sitting and that kind of thing. There's what's called a half diamond here. There's a very shallow sort of just diamond end. This I'm not sure, I don't know what the name for this one is. Maybe somebody can help me out in the comments down below with this one. It's like, it's a very flat wide blade with a couple of bumps in it. I'm not sure what that one's for, or what the name of it is, but yeah, maybe somebody can help me out. Flipping over, we've got a single diamond, two different double diamonds with different spacing, a triple diamond, a rake, and 5 different wafer picks for wafer style locks. Again, I'll post another link below to a video that explains the difference between pin tumbler and wafer locks. As far as the tension tools that come with this set go, you've got 2 flat bars, Z bars. You've got a little, this is a round bar with a flat that's been pressed onto either end of it in 2 different orientations. That's real handy, this one. I found this to be the most useful one so far. And this Y bar, which I guess you're supposed to like squeeze it together and pop it in like that, and then it pops out and you use it that way. There's two different sized ends on it. For those sort of wider double keyway locks and those sorts of things, maybe. Like bi-locks and things, maybe that's what you use that for. I think it's for a bi-lock type thing. Anyway, that's the pick kit. The blades, the handles, you know, the actual tools themselves, they're just a cheap thermoset plastic handle, injection molded plastic handle, but they're fine, you know, they're smooth enough, they feel nice enough, very light. It's plated steel, I'm pretty sure. I wasn't sure initially if these were brass or steel because of the colour, but from one of these wafer picks got a bit damaged in shipping, got a bit bent by this thing jammed into it when the case was closed, and I was bending it back into shape, and just from the resistance that it gave me to put it back into its proper shape, I'm fairly certain these are just cheap plated steel, you know, with the plating on to make them look shiny. But that's fine. The edges are quite rough. They're very cheaply made. Obviously, they're just stamped steel. They're, you know, stamp plated steel. So it's just one big sheet, and they're just punched out. So all of the, you know, they're fairly smooth on the one side where the punch would have come down, but they're quite rough on the reverse where the piece would have been punched out of the sheet. So if you're going to buy these, and this is something I need to do, you need to grab a fine finishing file or a bit of sandpaper or something and just break the edges. I was playing with these wafer picks a little bit earlier, and I nearly jammed one in my cheap filing cabinet lock. Wasn't too concerned about the lock, but was a bit concerned about the pick jamming. So that is something that you will need to do if you buy this kit, and you can save yourself doing that by maybe looking at PickPals or one of the basic PickPals entry-level kits or something like that. PickPals.com.au, Australian lock sports supplier. Link in the description. Okay, so moving on, you get the lock, the plastic lock as well, acrylic clear padlock, which lets you see how everything works. So you can see shackle there, the plug itself there, shackle spring retention pin there that holds the shackle, stops the shackle falling out. There's the two little locking bars at the top which pull inwards under spring tension. So it is one of these ones that you can click closed without having to turn the key, because the locking bars are sprung, so you can shim this as well. There's a fair bit of tolerance in the hole for the shackle, so you could get a shim down in there. You could practice shimming a padlock that way as well. And of course you can see the pin stacks at the top there with the springs, the driver pins, and then the key pins. You can see the first key pin in the front of the keyway there. So I presume they're called driver pins because they drive the key pin, which is what the key actually pushes up when you put the key in. The driver pin drives the key pin down under spring tension. That's why it's called a driver pin, I guess. Anyway, so that's how that all works. I was fairly impressed with this. I thought it would be very cheap and flimsy, but it feels nice. It's actually not too badly made. You know, I mean, obviously you wouldn't use it for anything that you wanted to actually keep secure, but as a practice tool, it's very, very sloppy lock. I mean, you look at the bitting on the key as well. You can rake this open. It took me probably a couple of minutes to get it open the first time I tried it, and I can now rake it open. You know, it takes longer to actually pick up the tension tool and put the tension tool in and set the tension than it does to actually just rake the thing open. So, but it's cool, it's fun. It's fun to see how quick you can get it open, you know, either by raking it or by single pin picking it. So moving on to the tension tool set. We've got, so you get 4 different sizes of flat bar here, 5 different sizes of square bar. You get this quite useful one, which has sort of got a, come on, focus, it's going to do it. It's grounded at an angle. It's sort of got it's a triangular end on it. That's quite handy, I've found. You've got this big thick flat bar, and then you've got these 2 random tools which appear to be for a very specific purpose. Lockpicking Lloyd did a review of this set and wasn't quite sure what these were used for, but then he subsequently found a use for this one, picking a lock that had a pin at the back of the plug that needed tension put on it, or pressure put on it all the time. So not sure about those, but you know, might come in handy for something. So anyway, there's the tool set. As I said, we've also got these other little locks to play with here. So I'm going to give this a crack and show you just a real quick sort of basic tutorial about how this all works. So let's grab this, and we've got our flat bar here. So basically, I'll just slot him into the keyway like that. So the way this works is basically you need to put tension on the lock. You need to try and turn the plug under tension from this this Z bar here, this flat bar, and that will cause the pins to start to bind up, obviously, because the key pins have not been released, not been brought up to the shear line of the plug. So the way this typically works, I'm a lefty, so by instinct when I first picked these up, I grab the pick with my left hand. Let's do that now. I'm just going to grab the rake for this. And I grab the lock with my right hand. Now because most lock plugs are designed to turn clockwise, that means I'm tensioning this with my thumb. Righties would hold it like this. And this is how you'll often see guys like Lockpicking Liner and Bosnian Bill, who I believe are both right-handed. They'll use forefinger tension like that, which is actually beneficial. I think I've tried it this, and in fact let's do it this way, because your forefinger tension is, your pressure is a little bit more precise and a bit more, you've got better feel than you do with your thumb. So I think practicing this ambidextrously is probably a good idea. Okay, so let's make sure that it's properly seated in there. And just what we want to do is just slide that rake in and just basically jiggle those pins all up to the shear line, and we should be able to get this open pretty easily. So in it goes, and bang, she's open straight away, like that. So as you can see, this isn't much of a challenge, this one. I was even doing that cack-handed, you know. But it's good as a starter because you can sort of see, it's because it is quite loose on the tolerances, the slop and the binding of the pin stacks is quite obvious and easy to see, and you can kind of, you know, but it's also the bitting of this particular lock is so is quite weak, so obviously you can rake it like that pretty easily, and it gives you a bit of a buzz, you know. It gets you into it quite quickly because you don't have to sit here struggling with this thing to get it open for 20 minutes on your very first try, which would be discouraging. So, you know, lets you get straight into it, and then obviously you can practice single pin picking it after that. Let's keep the rake and have a crack at this Cineco. Now this gave me a little bit of trouble initially. So have a look at the keyway on this one. You see the curve on the keyway there at the top? It's not straight, it's actually kinked over like that. So that initially gave me a little bit of drama getting the tool in and finding the right technique to do that. Now am I going to be able to do this with the... No, that flat bar's too loose. Let's grab this guy. I think I did it with this guy before. This is this round bar with the flats on each end. Come on, focus. So you see you got one flat in that orientation and one in the other. So let's have a crack at this guy. Doing this all through the camera viewfinder as well, by the way, because I'm standing behind a tripod, so pardon. No, that's no good either. It didn't really work. Will it fit like that? No. Alright. Let's pick a different tool. So I go with this triangular guy. I think this is, maybe this was the one I used. Come on, focus. Thank you. In it goes. Come on. Oh, maybe not. Sorry. Give me a second, folks. Aha. Can we get it in like that? Okay. Yeah, no. Not ideal. Sorry. Sorry about all this waffling that you're going to have to watch, because I'm not really too confident about editing videos on that laptop. It's not really built for that. Okay. Now, if I'd been smart, I would have put the correct tension tool to one side at the start of the video, wouldn't I? Ha! But no, didn't think that far ahead, did I? No, I'm going to have to edit this out. Damn it, which one of these did I use? So yeah, as you can see, a bit of a noob at this. Quite a noob at this at the moment, but you know, it's getting there. Just realised I'm off camera, just messing about here. Let's give that a try. It's not great, but I'm able to get some tension on it at least. Let's see. It's just quite tight to get into there. But there you go. Straight away. Open. So, as you can see, most of this is about just finding the right tool for the job, I've seen. Oh, we've lost the light. It's about to start raining. One sec. Okay. Let's give this guy a go. This tiny little one. Now this one I think I did use the flat bar for, or the round bar for. Pop him in there. Yep. Come, focus. This is probably going to be so blurry. Can we rake him? Once again, I don't think this is the right tension tool for the job. Yeah, not having so much success with that one. Let's grab a little flat bar maybe. No. Nope. Ah, this might be the one I used the triangle for. Oh no. Oh, yep. That's the one. That's the one that's nice and snug in there. Plenty of room to get the pick in above it. Get him all the way in there. Okay, let's grab a long hook. Make sure that tension wrench is firmly seated in there. Get our tension on. Okay, where's that? Get him right into the back of the plug there. These smaller ones actually are, I found to be more trouble just because you've got less room to work in the keyway. Oh, come on now. I had this open in a minute the other day. I'll grab the rake again. Just swap that tool out for something else. This is something I found actually. Often the style of pick doesn't seem to matter so much as the tension tool. The tension tool is much more important because you get the right tool, the right tension tool, you can use it as a rest for your pick, and you get leverage off it that way. If you do that, there we go, she's open. So if you do that, it just suddenly, where you were wrestling with it before, you're actually just able to rest the pick on the top edge of the tool, and you get the tension, the leverage, and it just goes pop, and you go, oh sweet. So that seems to be one of the big tricks of this. Finally, this is one I haven't tried before. Obviously I've got the key for it. Let's have a look at the bitting on the key. Now this is TSA approved, right? So they have their own master keys that can open these, and they can inspect your luggage and then lock it back up again. But if we have a look at the bitting, come on, are you going to focus? That is some pretty terrible bitting. Like, look at that. That's basically, you know, it's pretty close to a straight line, basically. So I think we'll try the rake on this one again. And we're going to grab our little triangle guy again, maybe to fit in there. Sorry. Oh, it might help if I actually close the lock first, eh? One good thing about this, it's a ball bearing lock. You can't snap the shackle closed without the key, so it can't be shimmed. So that's the one thing this has going for it. Yeah, way too big. Where's that little round guy? Here he is. Go in there like that. Yeah, the shape of it and the size of it makes it a bit awkward to work with. The pins are pretty visible at the top of the keyway there. Sorry for the blur. There's my rake. Oh, okay. That's actually pretty tight. Don't know if I'll get the rake in there. No, I won't. Okay. So we'll need a real fine hook. We get that in there. Yeah, sorta, kinda. Anyway, this one I might have to investigate further and come back to you on, because I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this on camera without a whole lot of stuffing around. Give it a quick go, see how we go. Yeah, no, extremely hard to hold for a lefty. Anyway, to tension it properly. And yeah, that keyway is really tight. Ah, there we go, open. Anyway, so there you go. So there's my little review. I hope you found it useful, interesting, if you're interested in getting into the wonders of lockpicking. It's really fascinating stuff, and it's quite fun. There's a definite satisfaction when you get that moment. You just heard it before when I had that little chuckle. You know, definite moment of satisfaction when you hit that sweet spot and it just pops open. Obviously, I'm now looking at getting some more practice locks, some actual proper lock cores, and you know, Euro style cylinders and so forth. But for $30 odd, this is a pretty good way to start. I'm enjoying myself, and again, had some excellent advice from the guys on Overclockers Australia forums, ocau.com, overclockers.com.au, the OCAU forums. I'll post a link in that to that Locksport thread that I started on OCAU in the description below. Lots of good info there if you're interested in getting into this. Anyway, have a good day. Cheers.